welcome everyone to this week's episode of Tiny Table Talk for The Challenge Season 35 Total Madness Episode 10. Now, before you get those BK cravings, let's jump into the show, shall we? Now, in this week's episode of The Challenge, we got a daily challenge called Thrown Off, and it is the trivia challenge for this season. Now, I know the trivia challenge is super popular with every challenge season. It's one of TJ's favorites. It's one of my favorites. It's so fun to have these people freaking out, being over water, super high heights, and then having to give very dumb answers. This one had a very cool aesthetic with people having to grab onto rockets or these missiles and having them jolt if they got their first X. People normally fell off after the first jolt, but some people held on and then went down with the rocket. It was so much fun to watch in that aspect. The con I had about this daily challenge is giving the players multiple choice. I think giving everybody 3 options, giving them a 50-50 shot of getting the answer right is fun in that they could have a better opportunity of giving an X to somebody and possibly starting new rivals, new feuds in the house. But it takes away the opportunity for these people to say really dumb answers. Like, giving them options takes away the ability for someone like Johnny Bananas to think that they speak Dutch in Australia, or giving Nicole from last season the opportunity to say something besides 50 seconds or in 5 minutes. I mean, we got to see a little bit of Nani's thinking of why she picked ostriches for having the largest eggs and why she didn't say elephants because elephants have the smallest eggs. But you kind of take away that opportunity for them to really display a lot of what they do and don't know by giving them options. But again, it was really fun to watch. TJ's laugh is always the highlight of every single challenge season, and I still had a fun time watching this. Now, in this episode, the Wanana storyline and alliance hit a bit of a speed bump as there was a communication breakdown between Wes and Bananas this episode and how they wanted to proceed strategically on who was going to go into the elimination. Now, at the beginning of this episode, Bananas was dead set on getting into the elimination. He didn't even want to win the daily challenge to get into the tribunal to decide whether he wanted to go in or not. He disqualified himself and had the house vote him in, and he was going to go in regardless. Now, on the other hand, I think Wes wanted to go in no matter what. In his mind, that he wanted to go in, get his red skull against whatever. It was just who the house was going to vote in. And I think he was hoping that maybe Bananas would lead the charge and pick somebody that he wanted to go up against, and then he could volunteer himself to go in. However, upon hearing Bananas telling everybody to say his name, it kind of throws a wrench into Wes's plans. I think Wes felt as though that Bananas was doing it independently for himself, throwing himself in and then putting the pressure on Wes to give him the person that he wanted to go up against. On my second viewing of this, said this multiple times that he thought that this was one of the last shots for people to get their red skull. To me, I don't see how that's possible. There's so many people without red skulls. I mean, I understand where he's coming from as this is very, very deep into the season. I just didn't quite understand where he was getting that idea from. I just thought it was very confusing on that aspect of it. The tribunal was able to either pick Swaggy C, Corey, or Kyle to be thrown in against Bananas, but Wes decided to go in against him regardless, and there was a lot of hype up for this. I thought that the Charge the Wall elimination was going to be a fun one, and I thought it was kind of fun. However, for how much talk they had about what they wanted to do, whether Bananas wanted to throw himself in or not, whether Wes wanted to throw himself against Bananas or not, everybody who hasn't really got any screen time this season having a confessional talking about whether Wes was going to go in against Bananas and vice versa. I mean, it just was so weird how much of a buildup and how much hype was surrounding this elimination, and we didn't even get a hall brawl. We didn't get a balls in. It was a wrecking wall modification of this elimination, and both guys pretty much had the same strategy in this elimination, where they wanted to punch all the boxes, make sure they looked thoroughly through each box before moving on, and getting the batteries. At the end of this, they hit every single box, both of them. I mean, Bananas hit every single box and then had to go back over it to find his third battery. Wes didn't even find his second battery until the very end. I look at Wes, I see his challenge elimination resume, I see how thorough, I see how focused, I see how poised he is in very high pressured situations. And in this one, it just seemed totally off. Like, he missed 2 other batteries after hitting every single box. I just don't know how that is possible. But then again, Bananas on the other side missed a battery completely as well. So maybe they were really deep in there. They couldn't really see. They didn't open up the boxes really well. So I can't really put it on either guy. But I have to say that both had the same strategy. They just did not execute to the fullest. And I thought that it was very nice to see them hugging at the end of it, talking about how they want to be Alliance members, that they want to be friends. Their beginning of their rivalry really started off really heated, really egocentric, really prideful. And I think once Wes took that big hiatus from Rivals 3 to War of the Worlds, and Bananas not having his other Alliance members that he had at the beginning of his challenge career, I think they were able to soften up to one another and really change their really heated rivalry to more of a sibling rivalry. And now that they don't have to really put on airs to anyone, I think it was clear that they don't really hate each other, at least for the past couple of years. Once you see them on the Mopo lie detector test that was on Johnny's NBC show, the way they talk to each other in the reunions and all that good stuff, I think that they have been friends for a little while, a little bit more than acquaintances, and I think that now that they can just be friends and really be an alliance together for the rest of their challenge careers will be fun to watch. I think at some point though, because you're gonna have people coming into the show wanting to take a shot at the big dogs, I feel as though that being together is really going to put a big target on their back for seasons to come. And you never know, maybe they can get CT in here and be like a CWB or something like that. I think it would be fun having an OG like alliance together, but you never know what's going to happen in the seasons to come. Now, all these comments that I'm about to read come from my Thursday's video, the review and recap of this past week's episode of The Challenge, Season 35, Total Madness, Episode 10. And we're gonna start off with Trevor Cruz saying, I think the throne part of the daily challenge name was because of the Burger King sponsor for the challenge. Could be wrong though, LOL, that's how I took it. That makes a lot of sense. I know in my Thursday video, there was a lot of talk. I went on a tangent about how I did not understand why the daily challenge was called Thrown Off while they're holding on to missiles. But after you saying that it's because of Burger King sponsorship, it makes a lot of sense now. So thank you for sharing that with me. I really appreciate it. My next comment is from Austin, who says, Thrown Off, Burger King, Kings get thrones. Yes. Jake K says throne is reference to Burger King. Colleen Garlow says Burger King sponsored this episode. Throne, hello. LOL. Yes, I totally get it now. Gloria Gray says, I think the title Thrown Off was meant to be like Thrown Off, which the whole episode was about Wes being thrown off by what Bananas was doing since he wanted to go into elimination. Also, Throne was because of Burger King and Wes won the challenge, so it was like he was king. I don't know, that was my take on it. I think it works in both ways at that point. I think it mainly means the Burger King sponsorship, but I do like the double for it being thrown off, Wes being thrown off by Bananas. Lorraine Jackson says, I think the Thrown Off challenge name was a play on Burger King. Jordan Bishop, probably been mentioned, but I'd say the throne is a nod to Burger King. I bet we have a whopper of a daily in due time. I think I'm the only one that missed it. As Goat Quan Barkley says, I think the throne because of Burger King sponsored it. Laughy cry emoji. Nesha or Nisha C, the name of the daily challenge Thrown Off is homage to Burger King sponsorship in the episode. My Lost Wig Productions said perhaps it was called Thrown Off due to being sponsored by Burger King. I don't know, maybe. Ridiculous says, I think the Thrown Off thing was a nod to Burger King. Don't know if I'm right though. I think you are right. I think I'm the only one. It seems as though I'm pretty much the only one that had no idea that it was a nod to Burger King. And I watched this episode twice, at least twice. Drix0404 says the throne is because of Burger King. Lucas says it's called thrown off because it's sponsored by Burger King. Jeesh, go bananas. Alexa says maybe thrown because of it being the Burger King win with that throne. Serenity Kane says maybe the throne is related to Burger King feast. Johnny Talk Sports says they wanted to call it thrown off because the prize was Burger King. Jimbo says thrown as in king like Burger King. Eric Wolf, I think the throne was for Burger King. Lauren One Survivor, thrown because of Burger King. Decisio8393, throne equals Burger King, pretty obvious. Fabian Rampage, thrown off because the winners won Burger King and had king and queen crowns during their feast. Andrew, thrown off because of the Burger King sponsor. They were wearing the crowns. Thought that was pretty evident. However, I could understand due to the fact that they don't usually have sponsors, let alone name their challenge after them. Thank you, Andrew. From another Andrew, thank you for having my back. I personally had no idea, and I had no idea until I went to my comment section and had all those comments. It seems as though there's egg on my face because I had no idea, and even with the Burger King feast and the Burger King crowns, I had no idea. So thank you everyone for being as polite as you could be, for helping me out through that and figuring that out. Also, if I'm really wanting to rename this daily challenge, I would have called it Splash Landing. But that's just me. But that's it for this week's Table Talk. What'd you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comment section below. What'd you think about the daily challenge? Did this give you cravings for Burger King? Are you sad to see Wes leave and the Bananas Alliance be split apart for this season? Let me know that in the comment section below. Did you think this was an exciting episode or did you find it kind of boring? Let me know that in the comment section below. And what'd you think about this daily challenge? Thank you so much for watching. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really soon with more challenge content, brief histories, top 10s, top 5s, ranking videos, Mount Rushmores, all that good stuff, deep dives, everything. I'm gonna be coming out with a ton more. Also on Thursdays, join me for the challenge, Total Madness, review and recaps, and join me on Fridays for another tiny table talk for the challenge season 35, Total Madness. But until then, peace. You get so mad at me when I go out with my friends. Sometimes they're crazy, and you wonder why. I'm such a baby, yeah, the dolphins make me cry. Well, there's nothing I can do. All I wanna be with you.